G'day folks, how you doing? Neil Kelliher back again from The Amazing Chase, and this is episode 12 now. Okay, so it's been about 6 weeks now since I submitted my human rights claims to the IPT, the Investigatory Powers Tribunal in the UK, who deal with breaches of human rights committed against victims such as myself by the Covert police, in this case the National Crime Agency, on behalf of Interpol. All right, so that's in the works, that's in the system. Like I said in my recent update, that'll stay in the system for a very long time and before it's gotten to, and the corrupt police will continue to, just sort of lie in wait, trying to find ways to get to me and shut me up before that claim actually reaches the tribunal panel and they give me a judgment that should be in my favour, basically. Okay, so anyway, that's in the system, and that's that. So now it's time to carry on with the story. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to give you a rundown on the covert recording ankle bracelet that was a Witness Protection Program issue that Undy was wearing, and that was issued by the Queensland Crime and Corruption Commission back in 2019, in May 2019. So here's Undy. All right, and as you can see, that's his ankle bracelet that he's wearing there. All right, so that is the Witness Protection Program issue covert recording ankle bracelet. Okay, all right. I'll get to how I found that out and when I found that out in a couple of minutes. Okay, so that's Undy wearing his bracelet. All right, now that was swapped from the original and traditional GPS bracelet or anklet, which is this one here. Okay, now that's not his leg, that's just an example. All right, but that's the original Bale GPS anklet that he was wearing. Okay, now that one was swapped in about mid-May 2019. Okay, so this is the original. Okay, so that's the original typical traditional GPS Bale anklet that all people released on bail wear or wore in Queensland back in those days in 2019. Okay, so that one was swapped for this one. All right, so this beast. All right, so this beast here. Okay, now this one is obviously special edition. Okay, so took me a while to find this out, but when I did, I found out about all the special technology that was inside that bracelet to enable it to record and broadcast back to base. Okay, so I'm going to just reel off the technology here. I'll just show you. It's just written down there. All right, but I'll read it out for you. All right, so inside the bracelet, we've got GPS, GPRS, GSM, dual SIM, Wi-Fi, RF. Okay, so these are all for transmission of data. All right, so audio in this case. Okay, so that's inside there. Omnidirectional antennas, so that's antennas that give 360-degree signal coverage in case he's in a black spot somewhere. All right, because this thing was recording and broadcasting back to base in real time. Okay, it was voice-activated microphone, broadcast back to base in real time, so they needed to make sure that the coverage was absolutely solid. Okay, so omnidirectional antennas. Okay, user-activated duress alarm. All right, now take a look at this little lever at the bottom here. Okay, I believe that was the duress alarm. If ever he was in danger, if ever anyone found out what he was doing, he could press that button and the police would come and save him. Okay, 24/7 monitoring by a dedicated team. So obviously a guy like this, high value informant, very high value informant, had to be monitored 24/7 by a dedicated team. Okay, so like I said before, internal microphone, voice activated, I suspect. Okay, because he couldn't be turning a microphone off and on himself. It must have been voice activated. All right, with the audio recorded to internal hard drives. Okay, and also broadcast back to base in real time. All right, and also long life batteries, obviously. All right, so if you take a look at the size of this thing, all right, take a look at it. It's massive. All right, so you can understand why it's that size, because it's got all of that stuff, all that tech inside of it. All right, so yeah, and also with the dual SIM, it's got two SIMs, had two SIM cards in there just in case there was a network failure with one of them. There's a backup. All right, so yeah, that's what's inside that thing. All right, now do I know that for an absolute fact? Well, no. Okay, but I mean, that's what I was told, and I'll tell you how I was told that in a second. All right, and I certainly believe that to be true, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't have tried to murder me to shut me up, would they? All right, so that is the ankle bracelet and the technology that it contained. All right, so it took me until December 2020 to find that out. All right, so May 2019 was when all this went down. All right, so that's when he set me up framed me in the cafe, recorded a conversation on that bracelet for the police, led the police to believe that I had information about his suppliers of his drugs, that I could, possibly, give evidence, testify against them, and that's what their plan was to get me to do, by entrapping me and try and flip me to become an informant against the suppliers who Lee Undy had already ratted on, but he was too weak and spineless to stand up in court and testify against them. I forgot to mention, but when he had that bracelet fitted, which was mid-May 2019, it was that week that he took me to breakfast and set me up and recorded that conversation for the police on that bracelet. All right, so that was that week. And then almost 2 weeks later, on the 24th of May 2019, is when they tried to drug and trap me in Palm Cove based on the information they got from that conversation that he'd recorded for them. All right, so that's what happened there. Then also, he wore that same bracelet for almost 2 years whilst he was on bail. So from May 2019 until February 2021, when he was finally sentenced on his sweetheart deal, which he only got 9 years, which just happened to be under the 10-year threshold, where you have to serve 80% of your sentence. And then he only ended up serving 2 years. All right, so I mean, that alone tells you that he's a rat, the sweetheart deal that he got. But anyway, so like I said, he wore that bracelet for almost 2 years, okay? And he was a supergrass, right? He didn't just try and frame me and give up his boys in Melbourne. He was giving up, as many people as he possibly could, all right? So I don't even know, who he was responsible for having pinched back then, but I guarantee you there was, anyone that had any contact with him during that period, he was recording conversations for the police and providing that information to the police. He was even witnessed one time in a secluded area in Palm Cove talking to detectives. That was in 2020. And on top of that, he even gave up one of his business partners way back then in 2019, and that guy was pinched because of Undy. All right, and I won't mention his name because I told him I'd leave him out of it. But I mean, that just goes to show the extent of Undy's grassing. He was grassing left, right, and centre. All right, so he was super grass, absolute prized informant for the police. So how did I find out about the bracelet and the technology that's inside it and the fact that it's witness protection program issue? All right, so this is December 2020. I was in Portugal. I've been travelling a lot, obviously. I was in Portugal and met a guy in Portugal that used to work in Brisbane in the technology and electronics arena. All right, and he knew a guy who, in the Brisbane police, who was a sergeant in the Brisbane police in Queensland. All right? So he sent the photo of that bracelet to his mate in the police, and he responded and said, "Oh, who's wearing that? That's witness protection program issue." So I was like, "Oh, right, okay, well, that's interesting." And so I said to my mate, "So we'll find out what's inside the bracelet, like, what's inside there." I mean, I knew it recorded, but I didn't know exactly what was inside there, and why it was so big, So anyway, he dug around, found out from his colleagues in technology and electronics, what was in there. All right, and that's what they came back with. I also did some web sleuthing myself at the same time, just to see if I could personally find out any information about the tech inside, and I've come across this domestic violence website in Australia that had a whole section talking about the type of technology they use inside ankle monitors for domestic violence offenders, and it was the same tech that these guys had told me was inside Undy's bracelet. So that sort of corroborated what they told me. I was pretty confident what they said was true. I took some screenshots of that information on that website, and I've included that in another video on this channel, so the ankle bracelet slideshow. So you can check that one out if you like. It's only about 45 seconds long, but it shows the ankle bracelet side by side and the technology that's inside it. So that covers the ankle bracelet, and that's obviously one of the main reasons why they've come after me so hard for so long. 5.5 years around the world, they've chased me through 13 countries. With 5 drug entrapment attempts, 3 abduction attempts, and an assassination attempt, all to shut me up, to stop me from telling you this story. Okay, so clearly it was obviously very important to them to keep his identity as an informant quiet, and also to protect the technology inside that ankle bracelet. So that's why they come after me so hard for so long. All right, so on that note, that's the end of this episode, but let me just tell you a little quick story about how Undy outed himself in a text message to me on Facebook Messenger back in September 2023. He got a bit cocky on the old Messenger back then, because he was confident his little bent pig mates were going to get to me, and he sent me this message. Okay, you should be able to read that, but I'll pull back and read it for you. Right, so basically what he said was, mate, you've been a grub of a friend after all that I've done for you, but it's all backfired on you because no one believes it, because you know and I know the truth, and you couldn't produce it. So he didn't think I was going to get to this stage where I'd be showing everybody the truth. Okay, I'm enjoying the crypto, driving a Bentley next. I'm about to buy the Rolls Royce, while you're travelling the world, live off crumbs. That's what he said to me. All right, so basically, he's just said there, he's admitted, he's literally admitted he's the rat, and then he claimed I couldn't produce it. All right, so it's how stupid and on the one hand how stupid he is, on the other hand how cocky he is. All right. So anyway, that's that, and let's just conclude today's episode with just a little reminder of the people that set me up at the very first instant back in 2019, May 2019, when this all kicked off. It's been going for 5.5 years. All right. So number one, culprit Undy. All right. Obviously, number two, Linda Hopkins, my girlfriend at the time. She became a police informant. She worked with the police, helped them set me up, drove me to the apartment in Palm Cove where they tried to entrap me the very first time. All right, and then when they were gassing me the next morning, trying to knock me out with knockout gas, and I was telling her on the text message what was going on, she was trying to tell me I was being paranoid. All right, and we got Kevy Gone there, Chief Wiggins. Okay, Kev Gomes, the head of Cairns Major Organised Crime Squad back then. I believe it's Major Organised Crime Far North now or something. Back then, Kev Gomes was a senior sergeant. Now he's detective inspector, I believe. Okay, got promotion for being corrupt. All right, and then finally we've got Beeb Mellick. All right, so Beeb Mellick is Lee Undy's lawyer. Beeb Mellick comes from Mellick Smith's solicitors in Cairns. Okay. Beeb Mellick's nickname was Sergeant Mellick because he might as well be a cop because he provides that much information to them. Right, so Beeb Mellick, Kev Gone, Lee Undy, Linda Hopkins, they all conspired to set me up back in May 2019. That's what kicked this whole saga off, and we're still going. All right, hopefully soon to be resolved, but stay tuned for the next episode. That's number 12 done, and I'm going to start pumping these out a little bit quicker now because I need to motivate them to finalise this. All I'm seeking is closure and compensation. All right, like I've said all along. Okay, so if you've been watching, folks, thanks very much. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. There's going to be some really juicy stuff. Cheers, folks. See ya.